2021 KTM 500XCF-W. This is my buddy Greg's bike. He just picked this bike up yesterday from Trojan Power Sports up in Monroe, Michigan. And I got a chance to ride it here this morning. It is a cold day in Ohio. It's like 20 degrees. The trails are frozen solid. They are super slippery. I was on these yesterday and they were a lot better. Today they're like ice. I haven't been on one of these bikes for a while. I normally ride a 450 factory edition KTM, so the engine's fundamentally the same. I think these have a little longer stroke. It's maybe 508, 510 cc's. It's tuned a little different, lower compression ratio, 6-speed transmission. Man, I wish they'd put that 6-speed in the 450XCF. Kind of the settings, like this engine mount, it's a lot thinner, lighter, a little more flex compared to what's on the 450 SXFs, but the engine's fundamentally the same. I just like the way the engine works. I've been riding it here this morning on some trails, and it's a lot of fun. It's so smooth. Now, I know a lot of guys change these bikes up and desmog them and do all this stuff to them, but I think the thing runs really good. Now, this is the W, the off-road model, but I think these things are still green sticker, luckily, even if they have green stickers anymore out in California. But it runs really clean. It's got a O2 sensor, but I haven't installed it yet. And the tight stuff, it's got 1448 gearing, seems fine. You probably comfortably cruise 55, 60 on the road. And my buddy Greg, who got this bike, he's going to use it for dual sports and that, so he's put some balance weights on the wheels. This bike also came with some turn signals and a horn and a brake light switch, just to make it a little more streetable as they connect the trails during the dual sports. But I've been having a lot of fun on it. I'm really impressed with the engine, the rideability, super easy, cool pull clutch, how smooth it is. And then the PDS chassis, now it's really simple, wide open, clean down here, nothing there. It's lightweight. The Explorer Forts, it's got a really soft suspension setting, so it's targeted for off-road and super comfortable, but you get a little dive in the forks, but that just helps make that bike dive between the trees a little bit easier. So anyhow, we'll putt around here on the trails just to get a feel for it. Now the W's here, they also come with the map switch, which lets you choose between different settings. I'm running map 1 right now with traction control on, because like I said, these trails are really frozen, but just the rideability of this thing, this slow, kind of tight, gnarly stuff. The engine just lugs down. It's almost like a trials bike. I like how smooth it runs. The other thing that's interesting, I noticed right away, because the muffler is so quiet, they have a reed valve. They have like reeds on the air boot on the intake, and you can kind of just hear it singing a little bit. Now, like I said, it was down to like, I don't know, 10 degrees last night. Trail looks, I was going to try to turn in that corner there, but it's icy. It is icy, even with traction control. These conditions would be perfect for studded tires, which I don't have. But even in this stuff, it's real controllable. This is like off-camber, slippery. But the agility of the bike, the way it turns, and kind of just the general weight feel, it's a lot better than I thought it would be. I mean, it's a 500, and I don't get that sense at all. I think some of it is light. I think these bikes are probably like 232, 234 pounds before gas, so they really are light. But the rideability of them is I think is what's really impressive, and it just helps make the bike easy to ride. That smoothness of the power. Like I said, it's hard for me to think it's a big old 500, but when it does hook up, you can feel it go. And super linear, easy to control. And in the tight stuff, the agility is just excellent. Just the rideability of it. And one thing I did notice, it's a 500. Last bike I rode a couple days ago is my 300 Hertzberg, so that's got the dual counterbalancers and super smooth. These bikes vibrate a little bit more. Maybe you noticed it through the pegs mostly. But yeah, the chuggability of it, and even when it's a little bit more open, just how the bike will pull. And with the 6-speed, I'm really impressed. I'm today just kind of putting around, and it's super slippery, but just the initial feel is engine is just a velvet sledgehammer. It's super easy to control. It's got this nice kind of balanced and light feel to the chassis, and I like the settings. They're very plush for off-road, so looking forward to when the weather breaks, when we get a little bit nicer weather, we can get out and ride this thing a little more. 2 thumbs up.